A man is known by the books he reads, by the company he keeps, by the praise he gives, by his dress, by his tastes, by his distastes, by the stories he tells, by his gait, the notion of his eye, the look of his house and his chamber. For nothing on earth is solitary, but everything hath affinities infinite. This is a treatise from Ralph Waldo Emerson on the concept of individual sovereignty. To be a gentleman of distinction requires liberty. It requires freedom. It requires living someplace where you can be who you are. And it's backed up by the Bible. This is from Corinthians. Come out from among them and be ye separate. You cannot be a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ if you are in agreement with the world or partake of it. What company are you keeping these days? The left and some elements on the right are starting to talk about unity and returning to America being one nation. That's a trap. That's a trap. We're winning, and they don't want you to know they're realizing this. They don't want you to know you're winning. If you're living in the South, you have biblical values, conservative values, you're winning. And they're starting to try to fight back because the money is starting to run out for them. This is something that I suggested doing a long time ago, and you have been doing, my audience speaking of here, a great job. A very, very, very good job of keeping your money in the South, keeping your money in places that subscribe to conservative values. Choose very carefully where you spend your money because it does make a difference. They're trying to hide it. They're trying to couch the story in other ways. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different examples of this. They're losing. It's only been 6 months, and they are losing everything. The left is collapsing. That's why they want you to continue to be their friends. That's why there's certain elements even among the right, that want to keep their liberal friends. You can't keep your liberal friends. You can't do it. There's some very big personalities on the right that are trying to push this narrative of everybody coming back together again. Oh no. Absolutely not. And make no mistake, the number one target of the left is Florida. We've talked extensively about Governor DeSantis, and the whole world has stood up and noticed what Florida has done. But there is someone else that the left is starting to see now, and they are terrified because they won't have an answer. It's our representative from here in Florida, House District 19, Byron Donalds. And he put a quote up earlier that is absolutely devastating to the left's narrative. Let me read it for you. The essence of critical race theory would teach my 3 biracial children that I, their black father, am oppressed by America's history of white supremacy, and that their mother, my wife, is my oppressor. Now, I'm sure in the Donalds household, there's probably some oppressing going on when it comes to bedtimes or homework or the state of the rooms and the relative cleanliness thereof, but that's probably the extent of it. Now, lower right, Byron Donalds, Republican, defeated Cindy Lynn, I'm going to try to pronounce this right, Banyai. This is Southwest Florida, where this is, down around Naples. Just this story alone would completely destroy the left's narrative about Florida, about the South, and about why we are so successful and why we are winning. See, they can't understand this. Byron Donalds absolutely destroyed Breonna Keeler on CNN a week or two ago when she tried to pull this. And he just schooled her like I've not seen in a long time on CNN. I'm surprised they aired it. But they're coming after the South. This is an image they ran out earlier about how these 5 red dots are going to destroy the whole country. Yes, that's right. That's exactly what they said. 5 under-vaccinated clusters put the entire United States at risk. And they go through all this crap and garbage, blah, 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 variants, whatever. They're coming after the South. They realize that Florida is going to be a problem. So now they've gone for more low-hanging fruit. Louisiana, Missouri, Mississippi, Texas. But wait a minute. All you have to do is not travel to the South and you should be fine, right? How could this be? See, this is example 1. Example 2 actually comes from this story about the collapsed Florida tower that could have been repaired faster. Talking about this law about reserves. If they'd had more money and they could have repaired this, that, and the other. Now, those of you who have been to Patreon know that this is a total bunk story. But even within their total bunk story, they blow it. I mean, they can't even lie correctly now. Talking about this thing called a building reserve fund and the money that was socked away. Now, even with what they're saying here, it makes no sense. There's somebody that said there's some law that got repealed that would have made a difference. The law got repealed under Charlie Crist, a Democrat governor. It's a blue-controlled area down in Miami. And the law said that there had to be reserve studies done every 5 years. There was a reserve study done in 2016 on the building. That's 5 years ago. But when you read through, they goof. But you see, most of their readers don't read past a paragraph or two. None of the inspections revealed any problems. Maxwell Marcucci, a spokesman for the Champlain Tower South Condo Association, declined to comment on reserve studies. In a previous statement to NBC News, he said the condo board was doing its best to ensure the building was safe. They are not engineers and not building safety experts, meaning the condo board. Marcucci said they hired experts, trusted experts, and at no point did the experts indicate that there was a threat of imminent collapse. Now, here's what's so bizarre about what's going on with this story. You see, you're supposed to believe that CNN is the ultimate expert here, or NBC is the ultimate expert here, and that if the experts in Florida didn't see it, it means that they're just faulty, they're flawed, they're not educated. If it had been California experts or something like that for some blue state, they would have figured it out. See, this is a subtle dig at the South. Now, here's another example. America desperately needs 1 million more construction workers, and you can find this over on CNN. Let me rephrase this for you in a different way so that it really brings out what CNN's saying. America desperately needs 1 million more high school kids to forego college and learn a trade. America desperately needs 1 million more college kids to forego college and learn a trade. Think about that coming from CNN for just 1 minute. After years and years and years of demonizing the blue-collar worker, demonizing people that don't have masters or doctorates, and encouraging people to get into their little indoctrination centers, by the way, in those colleges, now they're whining about a problem they created. A problem they created. They're losing. This is a picture of Florida that even the left can't deny. That there are only small pockets where Democrats have any say, and it seems to be where all of the problems we have to deal with are. Up here around Tallahassee, down here around Miami. There's some issues in Tampa. You see, the fact checking isn't working. So they're trying to start to label people. But wait a minute. When you have people that don't operate on their feelings, you can call them any name you want and it's not going to matter. Let me say this again. They tried to shame people with fact checking, just saying you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. That didn't work. So now they're starting to call people extremists and racists and all this kind of stuff. You see, Florida man has been called names for decades and decades. We're used to it. We're used to it. We don't ask ourselves how we're supposed to feel about things. That's a leftist thing. It just goes to their narcissism. They believe they are the ultimate experts on everything, and even experts in other things have to defer to them. Because it is within and built into the dogma of the left that they convert you to their leftism. See, conservatism doesn't say that. Conservatism says, we're going to put out the facts, and either you're smart enough to see it or you're not. If you're not smart enough to see it, you're too stupid and I don't want to be around you. If you are smart enough to see it, we'll get along great. But I'm not going to try to convert you. But you see, that's what leftists do. That's why you cannot have leftist friends. And nor can you be a man or a woman of distinction of any kind and be a leftist, because your dress, your tastes, your distastes would all be governed by what your leftist masters tell you it should be. How you dress, the stories you tell and can't tell, your personal beliefs. They would determine that, not you. That's why this quote is so poignant. The only way you can have your own choice in books, your own choice in dress, your own choice in the stories you tell, or your house or your chambers or your gate, all this, is to be a conservative Christian. Because you would inherently believe, as a conservative Christian, it is your choice. And that you alone will have to answer for it. And the opinions of others don't matter. But on the left, the opinions of the giant group matter. They're going to determine for you what you believe, what you don't believe. They're the ones who are going to have the final say, and heaven help you if you have different stories to tell. If you have different beliefs, if you want to go your own way, if you want to be distinct, they'll give you different options of individualism, but other options will be pushed away from you. And say, oh no, you can't be that. No, you can't be this. An African-American conservative with 3 biracial children who defeated a blonde-headed white girl in Naples, Florida for House District 19. This story the left can't have getting out. They can't have it getting out, guys, because it would destroy something that they have worked for decades to build up. This hatred of the South. And make no mistake, the leftists hate the South. Everything you see in green here, they hate. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, parts of Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. You are hated. You are hated because you don't have authorized beliefs. They're going to tell their followers what they can and can't believe. You're not going to be able to decide it for yourself. And if you do follow biblical teaching and come out from among them and be separate, you'll see this. But I will leave it there. Once again, if you want the real story, the real reason behind what happened in Surfside, Florida, Patreon.com, Florida Maquis, $1, lowest possible level. Lowest possible level to put it behind a paywall to not only keep my word to this platform, but to also protect the families. So I will leave it there. God bless, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you tonight on Twitch.